Welcome to the Add Heart Podcast, the podcast that inspires heart-first living. This is where you'll get practical tools to reduce stress, inspire creative action, and energize your personal growth momentum, along with ways to apply these tools. And now, here's your host, Deborah Rozman.
Welcome to the Add Heart Podcast, inspiring forward movement and heart-powered intention. I'm Deborah Rozman, your host, and I really want to welcome you to our very first actual Add Heart podcast. And the topic is, what does it mean to add heart? And why is that important? And why is it more important now? If you look around at the world, at the news, climate change, political polarization, racial issues, a pandemic, just consider all that, and you can see people are feeling a lot of pressure and so much change and instability happening. And it's time for us to really look at how we're going to handle this in a different way, because humanity is at an important junction point. Adding heart means to show up each day with the intention to engage with life and other people from the core values of our heart. And research has shown that adding heart, which means activating attributes of the heart, such as compassion, appreciation, kindness, respect, care, latitude, calm, inner balance, and more, when we actually activate those attributes and qualities intentionally, it can lift our perceptions and thinkings above our problems so we can perceive new solutions that we need personally and as a society. A quote often attributed to Albert Einstein is that the significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. So we're going to talk about that today. And I want to introduce my guest. Howard Martin is the Executive Vice President of HeartMath Incorporated. And Howard has done so many public speaking events where he's actually talked about what it means to add heart and why it's important and some of the research behind it. He's also the co-author of Heart Intelligence, Connecting with the Intuitive Guidance of the Heart, with me, Doc Childry, and Roland McCready. And so we wanted to start this whole Add Heart podcast series talking about why adding heart is so important for each one of us, and provide practical examples of how we do it and how other people are adding heart to everyday situations and the benefits they're experiencing. So Howard, welcome, and please let us know how you would like to add heart today.
Okay, thank you so much, Deborah. Yeah, it's great to be with you. Thanks for having me on the inaugural podcast program. This is cool, and I want to thank everybody who's listening, wherever you are around the world, to our conversation about adding heart. To begin, I think I should talk a little bit about what adding heart means to me. And you covered a little of it just now when you were speaking. It's two things primarily. It's the values and qualities of the heart that we bring forward into how we live our lives, how we walk in the world, how we treat ourselves, how we treat each other. That's one aspect. The second aspect would be the intuitive qualities of the heart. How do we use those intuitive qualities in a practical way to make decisions that we need right now to navigate life in this extraordinary time that we're all in, where we've got lots of challenges, lots of things are going on, lots of change for each and every one of us. And the heart's intuitive guidance is an important aspect of how we're going to find the solutions that we need to meet the current challenges of modern life. For me, it's really about getting up every morning and making contact with that part of myself called heart, my true authentic self, my own best friend, my own internal guide for navigating life, and then trying to bring forth some of those heart qualities. Like appreciation, for example, is a great one. Appreciating my day, appreciating my life, appreciating, the good things about my life, and making sure that I'm in contact with that feeling of appreciation, rather than what happens a lot of times in the morning to many people is concerns and anxiety and grumbling and griping and complaining and things like that. Adding heart at the beginning of the day through something like the activation of appreciation sets a tone. It sets a tone for the rest of the day. It starts the momentum going in a direction that I think is most beneficial. Another aspect of that is, bringing forward things like more kindness and care think right now we need more kindness and care for ourselves and for each other. Everybody's going through a tough time, and we're all in some ways, faced with challenges we know nothing about with each other. And I think that having more kindness and more care and more compassion for each and every one of us is a way in which we add heart. Now, there's benefit in that to us, and there's benefit in that for society, and there's benefit in that in terms of the future of our world, manifesting casually. It doesn't have to be overdone, but casually manifesting, just being kinder to people, being more compassionate rather than so quick to judge, having a bit more care about other people, taking some of the focus off ourselves and putting it towards, making life better for other people. That would be adding heart. The benefits are huge. To me, it can be broken down if you want to get right down to the biology, the research we've done. Research that's been done all over the world over these last 20 or 30 years shows that some of these emotional qualities are regenerative to the physical health. They release hormones into the system that regenerate us, like more oxytocin, more DHEA. There's lots of physiological benefits associated with what's called positive emotional states. Beyond that, I believe that, we kind of get back what we put out, that we all live in this vast field of energy called consciousness. And that field of consciousness is reflecting back to us what we truly manifest in our hearts, not just what we think in our minds. And as we put out more heart, as we add more heart in how we lead life, that reflects back. And more fulfillment, more the things that we want in our life, more conveniences can show up over time as a result of adding heart. So that's one aspect of it. And
Howard, I wanted to click on something you said, because the physical benefits, one of the things you mentioned hormonally, but there's research showing that as we intentionally activate this heart power, these feelings and heart power intentions with these heart attributes like love or care or compassion or appreciation, like you talked about, it's an energy that actually facilitates our immune system. And with what's happening these days in the world, it seems to me like that is a real healthy thing to do in terms of activating our immune system to healthier levels by putting out that heart, adding that heart that allows us to, the subtitle of this podcast, Inspiring Forward Movement and Heart-Powered Intention, helps us navigate through these changes with better mental, emotional, physical health. So how have you seen this affect your sense of well-being?
Well, that's a good question. Certainly, my life runs a lot better when I'm able to manifest more of those qualities. And I agree with what you said about the physical as well. Immune system is another part of our body that's affected by the emotional states that we have, especially these positive emotional ones. Also the nervous system, the frayed nerves that people feel at times going through these times. To me, the best way to get my feelings of frayed nerves down is to put out a little more love, a little more care, try to manifest more of that. And that inner feeling, that smoothness begins to happen. And I think that's physiological as well as emotional. So again, it goes back to basic things, basic principles that we all kind of know, but taking those to the next level. And that, again, is things that I just mentioned. What would it be like, for each and every one of us if we had more love running through our system as we approach life? I don't mean we have to walk around hugging everybody. It's not that kind of love I'm talking about, but that genuine respect, that care, that interest in other people, really just feeling that love inside. And so for me, that's what I try to do. What it does for me is it informs me about things like conversations, for example. I find that, I'll have a bit more sensitivity when I'm conversing about something, let's say in business, where the subject could be, it could be challenging. But rather than having reactive kind of language or language that feels too harsh or too edgy when I'm trying to communicate something, if I'm adding more heart to myself and then to that situation, the words come out different. Points are still made, but they're made where they don't create as much stress and strain on the other people. And so that's a great way that I try to play that game, is in how do I communicate? And I'm going to be communicating in a much better way, a more efficient, higher level way when I'm adding heart rather than when I'm not. So that's one example of how I play the adding heart game.
I like that. It reminded me of something I try to do, because HeartMath, all of us on staff here, we really practice adding heart. You know, when something triggers us emotionally, it's not brushing it off. It's really switching our attitude from judgment or blame or insecurity to compassion or kindness or self-kindness, because you're switching a frequency. You're not just switching a mental concept. You're actually switching, turning a dial inside, like that enables you to actually, not only what Howard said, things come out of your mouth differently, that you helps you rise above the stress, back to the Albert Einstein quote, and lifts our perceptions and thinking above the problem. So right in the moment, we can perceive or intuitively grasp a new choice. Maybe I should listen here or ask the question. Or maybe right here, it's time to pause and really get centered again, and then see what the next best step forward is. It gives us so much more choice in the moment to be composed and to come back to balance. That's one of the incredible gifts of learning to add heart. These heart qualities, again, they not only feel good and help our immune and hormonal system, they actually help how we perceive, how the heart and brain talk to each other. And that is so important these days, where people are so overreactive, oversensitive, and going around and around in a loop that creates a lot of brain fog and indecision. And if that's you, don't worry, because we're going to give you some techniques, and especially one today, that you can begin to use to actually learn how to do this shift in the moment back to some heart-based quality and begin to stop the energy drains that can override our best intentions, and then give ourselves new opportunities for positive change. It's really an important thing to test for yourself what adding heart means, because it can sound sweet, but it really is another level of power to be who we really want to be. So Howard, before we go into sharing a technique, how do you find this helps you access more intuitive guidance?
Well, it is the key to intuitive guidance. To me, intuition is, again, a field of information that's always there and available, and we access it from time to time. Sometimes it shows up and we get this big surprise and this aha, but to me, it's always there. To me, we attune to that field of information through the heart, through the qualities of the heart being manifested through the energetic field that creates in us, that we send out. We access more of that field. And intuition is really important right now. I mean, you used the Einstein quote earlier in our conversation. And with all the challenges we're facing today, and as complex as they are, and as quickly as things are moving in one direction, then another, then back another way, and all of that, we're not going to figure it out just through logical linear intelligence. We've got to bring in a different, I'll use the term bandwidth of intelligence right now to do it. The good news is it's there. It already exists. What we have to do is slow down the racing mind and emotions enough. Tune in to our heart and the qualities and values associated with the heart. And as I'm sure you'll do in the technique we're going to do together soon, you breathe those qualities in and out through the heart. As you do that, what happens is you begin to open up to more of this field of intuition. Intuition that shows up with solutions or answers or directions or attitudes or feelings that you can have in regards to what you're looking at, what type of decisions you're making. And we are all making decisions right now all the time that are really important. Lots of little ones during the day and some really big ones. We need all of the maximum intelligence we can come up with to make the right choices. And the heart's intuition, the heart's ability to access the intuitive field, to me, is one of the keys right now to creating the new life that we want for ourselves and the new world that we know is going to come, but to help usher it in quicker and in a more graceful way.
Well, thank you for that, Howard. So we're going to share with you now a technique you can use. It's so effective to add heart as a way to prepare yourself in the morning for each day. And you can always repeat it during the day. We call that rebooting or resetting. But this technique, the prep technique, can uplift and add to your mental and emotional well-being, so you can ride these waves of change with more objectivity, as well as help your immune system, hormonal system, overall health, and it makes you more intuitive, connected, so that you can help others and make better decisions. And after the prep technique, we're going to close, as we do with each Add Heart podcast, with a heart meditation to energize our intention to add more heart to our life, to situations that need our energetic support, and to our environment. And as we do heart meditations together, collectively, that raises our collective vibration. It benefits the individual who's part of that and builds a carryover lift into our day energetically. And there's research about that we'll be sharing in future podcasts. So that's easier to remember during the day, to reboot and add heart. So let's do this prep technique first. Wherever you are right now, I'd like you to pause and identify upcoming events or situations or interactions for the rest of your day, or something coming up soon where adding a little heart in advance would be effective. Adding a heart attribute. Maybe it's compassion because you're going to be with someone who's sick, or maybe it's appreciation of somebody you love or care about. Maybe it's adding more latitude, cutting someone slack because you've tended to have judgments towards them and you want to add more heart and clear that energy from yourself. Just identify some upcoming events, and we'll do some heart-focused breathing to start. So focus your attention in the area of the heart. And imagine your breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area, breathing a little slower and deeper than usual. Just find an easy rhythm that's comfortable. Now, as you continue heart-focused breathing, see or imagine yourself in that upcoming event, situation, or interaction. And with genuine feeling, activate the heart quality that you feel would best add to the situation. By activate, I mean put your heart into the attitude of that quality or the feeling of it. If you can't quite feel it, then just activate the heart quality of calm and inner balance. And see yourself remembering to recenter in your heart during that upcoming event or interaction if you start to overreact or lose emotional composure. The longer you spend activating the heart quality, seeing yourself in that situation doing that, the more familiar adding a heart quality to your day will become. And in this case, perhaps it's just calm and inner balance. Whatever that heart quality is, take your time to adopt the attitude and the feeling, and don't rush it. Just continue to do heart-focused breathing while you see and feel yourself breathing and feeling that heart quality. This prep technique is a simple and effective way to really manage and decrease stress and prevent it, and create more flow, confidence, and increase the percentage of positive outcomes. So the value of this type of Add Heart prep technique can't be overemphasized. Prepping means being emotionally, mentally prepared and balanced before an upcoming situation interaction or event. The key to this being effective is to generate the heart feeling or attitude, not just a mental exercise or visualization. Okay, we're going to now close this by doing a heart meditation of radiating the heart feeling we chose into the energetic field, adding it to the environment, and creating a collective reservoir of all who are listening to this call of heart energy, like a pool of heart energy that we each can draw on, remembering it's there when we need to access more of our own heart over the next month. So let's radiate that heart quality into the energetic field and see it along with others, creating a reservoir of add heart energy we can each draw on as needed. Thank you all for sharing in that prep technique and that heart meditation with me, and know that it's a very real reservoir. Please do tap into it and add to it in your own meditations over this next month. Remember, the theme is to add heart and prep by adding heart to your day, and see what it does for you. See, indeed, be your own self-scientist if it helps you stay more in charge and rewarded and feel better during this month. Howard, any last words you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think so. And my lock-in, what I was feeling that I wanted to say to everybody who appreciatively they're giving their time and attention to our conversation is simply this. When you add heart, add it to yourself. And that starts with just acknowledging that you're a good person. You're doing the very best you can in a challenging time, in life, and that you need to honor yourself for that and appreciate yourself for that, for the good person that you are, and have some compassion for yourself if you think that you're going through some tough times or struggles or having some trouble with the way in which you're relating to other people or anything like that. Just back off a little bit from that and add heart to yourself. That would be one of the greatest gifts you could give to yourself, but in doing so, you're also giving a great gift to other people. And so the last thing I'll say is a line that I borrowed from a newscaster that I saw from time to time named Lester Holt. And he says something at the end of his broadcast that, I think is just so appropriate for these times, and I'll share it with you now. I'd like you to please take care of yourself and especially of each other.
Thank you, Howard. And thank you all for participating in this Add Heart podcast. Share it with your friends if you found it valuable, or anyone you know who needs a little extra heart. And next month's Add Heart podcast will launch Tuesday, September 21st, 2021 at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I hope you'll be there. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Add Heart podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you can catch the latest episodes. If you're wanting even more heart-inspired content, find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Clubhouse, and LinkedIn. Look for HeartMath and also the HeartMath Institute. Both organizations are committed to helping activate the heart of humanity.